All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight on Friday Night Live, the show where every week I get on someone interesting to join us and give you a chance, and me a chance to ask them some interesting questions about life in general, lockdown life, and anything else that springs to mind in the moment. I'm very excited that the guest that I've got today is incredible, and he is also a BGT winner, which is very exciting. So no doubt a lot of the questions are going to be about that, which will be fun. But before we begin, I just want to let you know that if you do enjoy these Friday Night Lives and you want to help support and spread the word, all you need to do is press the share button, and that means all of your friends will find out that we're doing this chat as well, and that will give them an opportunity to get involved and ask some questions as well. Luella, Victoria, Rachel, Phoebe, and everyone, thanks for joining me. It's good to see you jumping in. Right, okay, I'm not going to waffle too much to start tonight. I'm going to show you an intro video of my star guest, and then we're going to get straight into it and see how he's getting on. Right, here we go. So bear in mind, this was a few years ago. He won BGT, and he's here joining us tonight, and this is a little teaser as to who he is.
I'm Jess McDowall, and I'm a singer from Ayrshire in Scotland. Used to get very bad stage fright. I used to get very shaky. Never done this before.
Well, it's a big stage, and it's ready for you.
Just before my first BGT audition, I was so nervous that there was an actual point where I didn't think I'd go through with it.
Jay, your little knees were trembling throughout that.
Somehow I managed to get through that audition, and the rest is history.
The winner of Britain's Got Talent is McDowall.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would make it through my first audition, never mind get through all the way to the final and win the show. It's a total dream come true.
All right, and we are joined by Jai now. Here he is, ladies and gents. Make some noise. Just give him some applause. There he is. Good evening, Jai. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Hi, everybody. How's it going? How are you, Richard?
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a busy guy, and we're very keen to ask you some questions. I do have a load of questions that people have sent in throughout the week to ask you. But anyone who's joining us, don't forget you can ask questions as we go tonight. So keep pinging in any questions you have for me or Jai, and we'll get round to those as we go. But first of all, let's start from the beginning. I remember your first ever audition on Britain's Got Talent, which I think was 2011. Is that right?
Yeah, almost 10. Well, it was 10 years ago. It aired 10 years ago last week. So
was it? It was last Friday, wasn't it? Your 10-year point, and I'm gutted that I was hoping to get Jai on last Friday, but I wasn't feeling too good, so we postponed to this week. And then afterwards, I think the next day I saw your post saying that it was 10 years to the day on last Friday. I was thinking, oh God, I'm gutted. I missed that moment.
Well, it's just my first edition. We've still got, because I didn't win until June the 4th, so that's my official winning anniversary as such.
Well, maybe we'll try and get you on again at that point. Then that'll be. I tell you what, it's so powerful. Like I still, whenever I hear the moments where I think it was Deck who said, and the winner is when he announced me the winner, and every time I hear that, I kind of shiver, and it still feels a bit weird. Do you still get that now?
Me too. Yeah, no, I do.
The moment where everything changes.
I went on tour in 2019, and I was singing Anthem on the tour, and the fella Jonathan, it's with the tour with Jonathan Ansel, and he had an idea of putting that section in the break of the song, and then I'd walk down, and it was really funny. Even we'd played maybe 60 something dates all in, and even in the last one, I was like, oh, that's still weird. Still weird to hear.
Yeah.
But it's a nice weird, but still, it's like, what? That's my life.
Was that who announced it for you? Was it Ant or Deck? Can you remember?
Oh, I can't. I actually can't. I'm gonna have to watch that.
I think they usually now flip a coin as to see who's going to announce the winner each year. So I had Deck.
I don't know actually. I'm gonna have to watch that because I've never thought about that myself, if I'm honest. To be fair, I don't watch myself back very often, and the only time I ever see things like this is when I'm doing interviews, and I'm like, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll need to check that out.
So talk us through what you've been doing since then, because I know you've done loads and loads of stuff. What have been your highlights since?
Oh God, I lost count, to be honest. I've done such amazing things and been to amazing places and seen more of the world than I ever thought I would see in my lifetime. It's just been great, and like going on tour around the UK, I think the likes of with Jonathan and Lee Musicals, it was a real great turning point for me. It was one of those, because after Britain's Got Talent, although you get the initial success, you've got to keep it going on your own, or with your team or whatever, and it was just I was getting to the point where everything was working out, and I was on tour with Jonathan. It was absolutely great, and we were building something really nice, and it was just a great turning point, I think. And then as I say, I've seen some of the world, so I've travelled on cruise ships and things like that, and I was really fortunate to actually get, just before lockdown and stuff hit, I had finished a tour with Susan Boyle, and that was a sort of bucket list moment.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I always thought, obviously because we're both Scottish, I think, I was like, oh, can I do stuff with Susan? Because that would be really fun. And so that was a good moment as well, just one of those kind of dreams that I had way back when that came to fruition, thankfully.
That's a dream I've got, but she's avoiding my calls, I think. I don't think she wants to go on tour with me, unfortunately.
She's probably
I can imagine her being a double actor, magic double actor and a singing actor. Me and Susan, I think, would be a great hit in the theatres. But
you could be your Debbie McGee. Just,
exactly.
She's maybe be so afraid you'll put in a box and she'll disappear. And
yeah. I don't know how to bring people back. That's the biggest trouble I have. But that is so cool. We've got some questions already coming in, and I want to make sure we try and involve these people as we go. So let me ping a question for you. Some people said, God, I can't believe it was 10 years ago. Absolutely. It doesn't feel like that at all. So Natalie says, what's your favourite song to sing?
Bring Me to Life. That was my semi-final song, and I still love singing it to this day. I absolutely love it.
Okay. Well, I remember you on Champions, which was it was 2 years ago now, wasn't it? But I can't believe that was 2 years ago. I remember seeing you because obviously I think I was on the night after you. But I remember doing an Instagram story. I'd never met you, and I still haven't met you. This is the first time we're meeting here today.
Absolutely.
But I always remember feeling, though, I've got to do an Instagram story congratulating you, because I just remember not only how amazing you were, but how amazing you were just as a person as well. Like the thing in the industry is some people kind of aren't the kind of people that you would ever want to meet in real life, but you come across really perfectly, which was a good hit, which is why we got you on tonight. We only get people on that we find cool and nice. So well, please.
Hey, I don't think I've ever been called cool, so I'm going to take that.
Oh, really? Awesome. Right, so we've got another question here. This is from Phoebe. Oh yeah, okay. So she said, I think so. Phoebe asks all my guests this question, so it's kind of like a running question. This I like it, Phoebe.
Okay.
She says, "Jai, have you watched Harry Potter, and if so, which house would you be in?"
Yes, I have, and I would I'd either be a Hufflepuff or a Gryffindor, but I'm not sure which one. Somebody once said they thought I'd been Slytherin, and I was like, what?
I think I would be in one of the average ones, like Hufflepuff, or one of the ones no one can remember the names of. I don't know what the other one is.
I actually don't either. That's Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, the other one.
If you know the other one, chip in now and put it in the comments so that we can. I'm sure that's the one we're supposed to be in. All right,
Probably.
so we've got a Sarah here. Has told us that it was Deck that announced you.
Oh, Deck. Oh, thank you, Sarah.
All right. So we're both...
well seen, she's a massive anti-Deck fan. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic.
They're nice humans, so to be fair, I don't blame them. I'm surprised I don't know this.
Right, we've got... What age did you start singing?
Oh. Really early, actually. And I know that's very cliche and cheesy, but my dad's a singer as well, and his parents were singers before him, and it's a kind of family thing. So we just, I don't know, nursery rhymes and things like that. They always used to get us to sing in front of people.
Was that
so
the first time that you'd ever performed on a theatre stage, though? Your first proper, the
Oh
first
no,
big audition?
no. Oh god. I mean, I'd done sort of Amdram. The very first time I remember singing and thinking, I really like this. This makes me feel good. I was about 9 years old, and we were on a family holiday in Gran Canaria, I think. And I sang in a karaoke competition, and I was the only kid to ever win it. So they let me, yeah, they let me win it. So it was kind of random. So I'd probably say about then, maybe when I was about 9. And then
so you're technically an undefeated champion. You've won everything you've entered. You should go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire next.
I think I've definitely lost some things over the years, because I think from that point onwards, I sort of knew I liked singing, and then I think I was maybe about 14 or 15, and I started entering things like local competitions and stuff like that. But I've always been really shy. And so it would always go to the like cockier kids who had a bit more self-confidence. But, you know, at the end of the day, it worked out eventually. So, thankfully.
Absolutely. We've got a question from Sharon here as well. It says, what was it like singing for Josh Groban?
It was incredible. No, it was incredible. He... that was actually a really surreal moment. I was a fan of Josh Groban, which is why... I sang one of his songs on the show, but actually Anthem, the first edition song, was a Josh Groban song for me as well, because I had done amateur theatre and I'd starred in Chess. So Anthem is from Chess, but it was the Josh Groban version, if that makes sense. So anyway, I was a massive Josh Groban fan, was going to the concert, and I thought it was literally just after BGT, I think, October or something. And I was really cheeky, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask my management if I could maybe get a meet and greet. So I phoned up and I was like, okay. And then he phoned me back maybe about half an hour later, and he said, you know, how do you fancy singing with him? And I was like, you're kidding me. So yeah, so basically that was my first night out, I think, properly with friends since BGT. And I literally had a drink in my hand. I had maybe about 3 sips, and I put it down after they answered, after I got the phone call, because I was like, I can't drink now, need to sing on Sunday. So that was fun. But no, it was incredible. He was a lovely guy, and it was such a great experience, actually. I mean, I look back on that and I look ridiculous. Like, I'm standing frozen on stage and he's dead relaxed. And oh, yeah. I've thankfully grown as a performer since then.
Awesome. Lee said, will you be coming back to Wales? You got a fan in Wales?
Yes, Lee, I will. We'll talk about this later, but I am coming to Wales on tour at the end of this year with a production called Come What May. And I love the Welsh. I absolutely love the Welsh. I've got so many Welsh fans, and they're just lovely people. Lovely people. We always got a warm welcome, and it's really nice. I try to learn some Welsh, because I've got some Welsh friends from just outside Cardiff in a place called Neath, and it went down like a burning spitfire because I couldn't remember. I think it's Chrysopalb, possibly. I think that's it. I might have forgot. I haven't been speaking Welsh in a while.
Something I do whenever I do a show abroad, I always try to at least know hello when I first go onto stage. Yeah. In the language, but yeah, I've messed up a few times, because I think the more you're under pressure, the more you're trying to remember over and over and over again, the moment you go out there, whatever you're trying to remember just completely disappears. I did that on an Italian TV show, went blank, and looked like an absolute lunatic. And it's probably on YouTube somewhere. It will come back to haunt me one day. So I can't remember what I actually said. But while we're talking about that show, I do have the dates here. So anyone in Wales or anyone around the UK, these are the dates. So check them out here. So is this been postponed from pre-COVID, or is this
no? This is a new thing.
Right.
I was quite excited, to get this through. I got it through maybe about a month and a half ago or something like that. So It's a pretty
I
good
like
tour.
the look of Colchester. That's not far from me, so I'm gonna have to look into that
Good. Well, if you're
in
around,
September.
I'll get you some
And
tickets.
that's in September. Yes, not too long to wait. That's exciting.
I know,
So,
I know, it's not long at all. I've been talking about press stuff and things for it and getting really excited and just thinking it isn't that far away. And it's nice. It's a nice feeling because obviously, like, you know, everybody in our industry, it's been really difficult to get work and to just sustain things. And Ravenclaw.
There we go. Well done, Luella. That's the one we'd be in.
I know, probably. So it's just been, I don't know, it's been a hard slog, not gonna lie. But it's nice. Like I've actually really enjoyed doing stuff like this and getting to connect with people that normally I wouldn't. Like one of the things I always tell people is, because obviously I've worked and things, I've got lots of friends who live in London, and I'll always say, I'll see you the next time I'm down when I leave. So I don't really keep in touch with them until I'm in London. But actually, it's been wonderful to have like regular Zoom chats or whatever, and just be connected to people.
Yeah. Have you done any shows at all, like on Zoom or anything like that? Is it?
Yeah. So I've done a few sort of virtual things. My local theatre have done quite a lot, and I've been part of a lot of those events. And Jonathan and I done a show together, the Les Musicals one, and then I done a show with my dad actually, just through like streaming online. So that was actually really nice, just to get my dad involved in things. Because it's not like normally, as I say, I'm away on a production or a tour or a ship or whatever. So it was nice to just be like, I've got the time, we've got the time to practice, so why not? Let's just do it.
And it feels weird going to a gig which involves just walking to the next room in your house. Like I find that a little bit strange. Like, I wake up and think, right, I've got 2 gigs today. One might be in Manchester, one might be in America, but all it really involves is walking into this room here and setting up. So it's kind of nice. All the hassle of travelling around has been taken away. Sheila's asked if there's anything interesting you've been doing during lockdown apart from performing to keep you busy.
I've got a list. No, to begin with, I actually really enjoyed the time at home, and I enjoyed the time to like do all the DIY things and all the random jobs. Like I used to have a big massive tree in my front garden, and we cut it down years ago, but we never get round to removing the stump, so I did that. Which was kind of random, but painted the outside of my house, re-slabbed my back door. Random. I've now sold my house, so that was a waste of time.
After all that hard work moving that tree stump,
I know.
Went and sold it.
I was like,
no doubt you got a higher price for it because of that stump, wasn't there?
Yeah, thankfully. I told everybody about the tree stump. I was like, see right there? That's new. That never used to be grass.
I'm interested that you said you painted the outside of your house, because I've been trying to paint the outside of my house, and I started it kind of when it was hot in lockdown last year. And in my mind, I seem to remember me getting to the top of my house on a ladder and painting it all. But it wasn't until kind of a few days ago I kind of looked and realised that there's a clear line where obviously where I got to, and it is not even halfway up the side of my house. So in my mind, I was terrified because I was thinking, wow, look how high I am. But in reality, looking at it, it doesn't look too high at all. So I'm embarrassed about my DIY skills that I've kind of inhabited over the last year.
But it is quite scary. So I live in a bungalow, but I live in a hill. So one side of my house is considerably higher than the other. So I started at the shorter side, but then when I got to the taller side, I was trying to get to the top of the ladders, and I was like, oh my god, hold on, I can't die. And it was quite scary. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite scary.
Well, the easiest way to cover up a bad DIY job is to sell your house, and by the sounds of it, that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what's happened. Awesome. Right, let's see. By the way, while you were talking about your other show, I do have a video that I'm hoping you're not going to mind me sharing. Let me stop the music here. Of Les Musicals, which is when's this back on the road?
So Les Musicals actually won't be back on the road now until 2022 because we did postpone it until this year, but unfortunately, just with everything, we've had to then move it again till 2022.
Should we show him a sneaky clip anyway?
Oh yeah,
it's so good. We're gonna have to. Right, here we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. That's some of my favourite tunes, no doubt in there. So I'm hoping I can come and see that as well. I love that kind of music. Right, let me get. I'm not sure.
It's brilliant too. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I would love to have been like a singer in a musical. I think I used to always love going to the theatre. I've seen pretty much every show in the West End multiple times. I always wished I could be that person, but I'm going to stick to magic for now because I'm not too much of a singer. I had to sing in pantomimes, but that's as far as it goes.
Did you? To be fair, when I was a kid, I always fancied myself being a magician or a wizard or something. So we could
swap for a day.
So I've just swap.
I've dropped my mouse. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll swap for a day. I tell you what, anyone watching, if you want to come and see my show next year, it's going to be performed by Jai. And if you're going to see Jai's shows, it'll be me.
To be fair, if I put someone in a box and they disappear, they will not be coming back.
The insurance will not cover that anyway. Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. We've got a question here. When will you be visiting South Africa? Great question.
Oh, that is a great question. I have no plans as of yet, but if you know anyone that wants a singer, give me a shout.
That is the standard answer that I always give whenever anyone ever invites me or says, "Oh, when are you coming to Barbados?" My standard answer is, "Well, invite me, and I'll definitely come." There's certain places, where I have a different response, but yeah, there's some good places that I'd love to visit. Barbados is definitely one. So if you're watching from Barbados, you can have us both for cheap. Awesome. We've got Natalie here says she saw the show a few times and it is super fabtastic. Super fabtastic.
That's a new word.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Right, wicked. Right, let me put a background tune. So, there we go. Can you guys hear? Can you hear that, Jai? The music?
A wee bit, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just checking that's working. So anyone else, if you're just joining us, make sure if you've got any questions for basically either of us, make sure you stick them in there now. Also, don't forget, if you click the share button, then all of your friends will be able to join in as well, and we'll be able to keep them company. So, Jai, the main reason I started doing these Facebook Lives, it was a few months ago, was basically I started feeling a little bit kind of isolated, obviously, during lockdown, and I decided, I'll just go on once a week and just chat to people. And what's really nice is so many people, we see the same people turn up every week to keep me company, and I really appreciate it massively, which is why I try to get as many interesting people on as possible. We did have a brief chat before we started this live tonight, just a tiny chat, and Jai said he's very excited because I'm the first other BGT winner that he's chatted to. But then just before we went live, he actually after he'd kind of lifted my spirits up, he actually said, "Oh no, that's actually not true. I have met some other people." Who else have you met BGT wise in your shows?
I've met Ashley and Pudsey. Dog's not here anymore though. It's Is it Ashley and Sully now? I think. Yeah, that's a shame. The dog
but Sully also now has another sister, I think, called something else as well. So I think there's two dogs now. If anyone knows random. Sully's sister, tune in and let us know.
Fount of all knowledge, because people know. Yeah. People know. I've met quite a few other acts. So I'm very friendly with Charlotte Giaconelli, who was part of Jonathan and Charlotte. They were on the year after me.
I went to school with them, so they were the year below me in my school.
Oh, random.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was really
random.
cool. I think they were on. So they were on a year after you. Yeah. So that was
2012
before
I
me.
think.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then, so I went to China. This is, and I've completely forgot. Don't tell George. Completely forgot George was a winner too. I've met George Sampson, Stavros
Lovely
Flatley
guy
as well, because we went to China to do China's Got Talent together, and that was a really random experience. Yeah, it was a random, weird experience. I mean, I loved it, but it was just we were there for 3 days, and we literally got there and had to go and do the show, and I was performing with. I was basically told it was China's version of Susan Boyle, and so I was singing in English and she was singing in Chinese, and it was time to say goodbye. But she took unwell for the couple of days beforehand. So literally, like, we got maybe 10 minutes together and then threw on stage. And when just beforehand, we were practicing. And then you know what it's like, as you get on stage, you ham it up a little bit and you do more stuff. And so she was holding my hand and she was looking at me and I'm going, I have no idea. What am I doing? What am I doing? But it was funny. It was great. And it was a good experience. Like, and I think I'd definitely like to go back to China at some point in my life. Like, I didn't spend enough time there. And it was quite, I don't know, I've always said I'd like to kind of go out to Asia area and just travel, or, like, work as well, but mainly just travel. Because I think it's
I had no idea there was a China's Got Talent, but I assume that must be massive. The size of China and the amount of people.
I think they said there was like huge. 15 million viewers or something. I can't remember actually now. It might have been more than that. I would Google it, but
I have to say I was a little bit gutted with your story that you just told. I was hoping you were going to say, because the other singer wasn't able to be there, I was hoping you were going to say George Sampson had to chip in and do the Chinese part of the duet. I was going to say, wow, that would be an amazing thing to see. Awesome, that'd be cool. So is that on YouTube? Are you performing on China's Got Talent?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it's not on mine because I wasn't allowed to put it on mine. Right. But it's on. I've seen it. I've seen it before. It's definitely on there somewhere.
We'll have to,
Sully
we'll
and
have to
Eliza.
check it out. I like the idea. Yeah, there. So it's Eliza. There we go. I knew there was a new one. Yeah. So,
I can barely get my dog to sit.
So we've got a question here. Yeah, exactly.
Also, yes, I was gonna keep going with that, but then I just stopped myself. Lost Voice Guy was Lee was on the Champions episode with me, so I've met Lee as well. So,
Lee is
just
hilarious.
Yeah, just rub it in. Just rub it in, Sarah. It's fine. But just not the only person.
Right, here we go. We've got a good question here that I was going to ask you. Do you play any instruments? That's from Louise.
No. I mean, I'd like to say yes, but the answer is no. I went for piano lessons for years as a kid, and I did, so I got through my exams at school. And I got good marks and stuff, and I could play okay, but I just never, I don't know, I think life got in the way, and I got a job and things, and I just fell away from it. And even now, like, I don't know, I've not picked it back up. And I said to myself, like, literally guitar right there.
I can tell you that we're all doing the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I can't play it either, but I still have it in the room, just on the off chance that one day I'll sit down and actually learn it.
Me too. And I said during lockdown I was going to do it, but it's one of those things that my dad plays guitar and he's been working from home, and so it's weird. I'm like, I don't want my dad to hear me suck at guitar because he's really good. So yeah,
it is kind of one of those things where I would love to just spend like a whole day rehearsing, but I feel like everyone around me and probably my neighbours would just get infuriated while I'm trying to play the same one song for 6-7 hours. I would love it, but I would just hate the idea that everyone else is listening and hating that at the same time.
I think I'm the same. It's weird.
Right, so we've got a question here from Natalie. It says, Mary Jess been on tour with Jonathan and has won China's Got Talent.
Well, X Factor, but yes, Mary Jess. I've met Mary Jess a few times now. She came to see a few of the shows with that I done with Jonathan. Lovely girl, great voice, and yeah, she did China's X Factor. I think.
Is it? So this was. So she sung with Jonathan, right, on BGT. Right?
Sorry, no. This is no. So Natalie is talking about Jonathan Ansell.
Oh, okay.
Mary Jess, yeah. So Mary Jess sang with G4, I think, on a tour that they done a few years back, and she won the X Factor out in China.
Okay. What's the prize for winning China's Got Talent?
Do you know? I don't know.
Probably like $1 billion.
I'm so wrapped up in just not forgetting words, because like in true management fashion, they literally the night before I flew to China was like, oh, here's the words, here's the track to the song, learn it. I was like, okay, so I won't be sleeping on any flights. I have to learn these songs. So yeah, I was kind of panicking and slightly nervous, and I get nervous anyway still, but I was worse then because I was just sort of new at it, and it was weird. I was like, I'm in China. What's happening to my life? What's going on? It's weird.
I'd love to go to China. Interesting story. I did a show in Italy where so I did a guest spot. I turned up at this show, and it was a bit like Britain's Got Talent, but like a kind of an offside, slightly different in the rules and stuff. But I always remember reading that the prize for it was, I think it was 100,000 euros worth of gold coins. So it's like, and it was a strange one, because if you win the show, the gold coins would be couriered to your house, no matter where you are in the world. And I always remember thinking, what the hell? It was almost like they'd invested in gold, and the price had plummeted or something. They were just trying to shift it, and so it was. In my head, I just imagined like the mafia leader of Italy turning up at your house with $100,000 worth of or euros worth of gold coins, and then knowing where you live and knowing that you've got. And also I don't know how big that box would be of 100.
Huge, I think.
€1,000. Yeah, I've got no idea. I would rather just have the cash. I think. I think I'd be terrified having gold coins in my house.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if they know it's there, and then the price goes up, they're going to rob you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got here. Good question from Archie. Archie's a young magician. He said, "What's the very best thing that you've done since BGT? What have you enjoyed the most?"
That is a good question. Do you know, actually, going back on to Champions, I think was my thing. It was one of the best things, because after BGT, it was great, but then some funny things happened between Simon and I. I wasn't really good with the media, and somebody was sort of, he had an angle trying to get, like, you know what it's like sometimes, reporters will come on with a sort of an agenda, and the guy gave me like about 5, 10 to 6, like, I don't know how many reasons, but all these reasons why Simon could be anti-Scottish. And I laughed and said, yeah, that sounds like it could be. And then went on to say, no, he was good to me, he was good to Susan, that kind of thing. And but that got in the paper, so then Simon retaliated, and it went all crazy. And but it was really nice, though. My point is to, because you know yourself, like, we don't see people after the show that much, unless maybe at events or something, but I'd never ever saw them since. And so it was really nice to kind of connect with BGT and the team and get to speak to Simon and just be like, look, this is not the situation. And actually, it was really nice about it. It was like it's all in the past. It was papers and whatnot. And I was like, oh, that's lovely. Okay. And then just, to shake his hand and thank him for the life that I've now got because of the show. And and that sort of thing. So it was good. So that was, I think, a good turning point and a good experience. So that was the best thing, I think.
Awesome. I think you're right, and I think it's worth highlighting that. I think anyone who's ever been in the media, in the kind of industry that we're in on TV and that kind of shows, knows that you pretty much can't believe anything you read in the news. Pretty much everything gets spun in a way that isn't necessarily, and most often isn't in your favour. That's just pretty much... because that's what sells news. That's what... No one's going to read a story that you shook Simon's hand and had a great time. They'd rather twist that.
Exactly.
Say something not so good. I do have a huge question here from Thomas, and I feel like I haven't read it yet, so I'm not sure what he's going to say. But I feel like he's put so much effort into writing this that we have got to ask it. So,
oh wow, right, okay.
It's going to take us a minute to read. So, just curious, appearing at the Royal Variety performance in 2011, was there a sort of pride felt in performing for the Queen and the royal family, considering... okay. All right, okay, it's got a little bit political.
Thomas,
did you enjoy...
This is a loaded question.
I just cut it off, just as I haven't read the end, but I just saw it potentially going the wrong way. But I just want to... let's just... About the Queen. Did you enjoy performing for the Queen?
So, I
need a drink after
actually for Princess Anne, and I have performed for the Queen since at a Jubilee in Glasgow, but I sadly didn't get to meet her. She was away by the time I had read up and got myself sorted. But no, it was wonderful performing for royalty. I am a massive fan of the royal family. I think they do, an awful lot for the country. I think they're, they've got a hell of a job. Do you know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't want it. Not going to lie. Well, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Well, it's one of those things you'd like the good things that about it, but you wouldn't want all the baggage and all the tough stuff they have to do as well. They've got it's a lot harder than people realise the stuff they have to do. Yeah,
and that's it. It's one of those things, and you're never going to know what's happening behind closed doors. You're never going to ever even be able to probably comprehend, what kind of life they have to live and the rules they have to follow and all that sort of thing. So I think, I don't know, because like you read things sometimes, as you say, and you're like, how much of it can be believed and how much of it, is just story. So, but yeah, no, I love the royal family. I had a brilliant time performing for Princess Anne. It was really nice. She said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Scotland." And she was like, "Yes, I know. Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh no." And I told her, and obviously I know they do research and things for when they go to events, but I'd said, so I come from a village called Tarbolton, so that's Tarbolton. And she knew where that was, and she actually did, because she keeps horses nearby. And I didn't know this until I went and spoke to my parents after the show. I was like, "Oh, she said she knew where I was from, and it's dead exciting." And my dad was like, "Yeah, she keeps horses nearby." And I was like, "What? How have I never known this?" But now, like, this area, Prince Charles deals with a place. I'm pointing as if you know what I'm pointing to. Deals with a place just up the road from me called Dumfries House, and they do an awful lot of good stuff for like the community and the surrounding area. And I've performed there actually a few times with Kerry Ellis, West End star, and from Wicked.
Okay.
So big love to the royal family, Thomas. Big love.
Awesome. Wicked. Oh, nice one. Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Princess Anne, especially. She does a lot of good stuff. I've bumped into her at a lot of charity events. She does a lot with horses as well. She does a lot of cool stuff there. All right, I've got a question for you that I saw come up a minute ago, but I can't find it to highlight it onto the page. But someone asked, do you have any embarrassing stories of times of you on stage? Apart from your China's Got Talent one. Although that wasn't embarrassing, but... Any funny stories?
Oh, lots. Like, lots. Right, okay. So the best one, I was on a cruise ship, and in between songs, I tend to ramble on a lot. And so I did. And some kid from maybe like the 5th or 6th row shouted, can you hurry up and just sing? So I then said, well, you've just earned yourself at least another 3 minutes of chat, son. So shut it. And I did. I kept going for about 3 minutes. But the girl that worked backstage, her name was Shannon. She's from Ireland. And she said, we have to... So we went for drinks after the show. And we were, I think, it must have been the Crowbar or something to that effect. It must have been like a bird name, because she said, we need to come up with a code so that you know when you're talking too much. And eventually we got to caca, and that was the code. So
Right.
I had one more show left on the ship, and I was talking far too much. So she caca'd from stage right or left. I can't remember where she was. So I broke into a fit of laughter, which no one could understand, because they were just like, what is this guy doing? So then I had to explain why I did that. They thought it was hilarious, which was great. Got to my end song, was doing my thank yous, doing all the chat. I can't remember where we'd stopped. We'd stopped in a port that day, and I actually had met a friend of mine while at port from another ship. And so I was telling this big, long story. And I kid you not, the front row, all of them in unison at the same time, which that's what unison means, caca'd. And I could not stop laughing. Not at all. So that's probably my most embarrassing moment.
You primed him for that one. You primed him for that.
I did. I set myself up for it. And I've worked really hard to try and trim down my in-between song chat from then onwards, because I don't
I
want
waffle
caca'd.
a lot as well. I think magicians in general, we all tend to waffle way too much. We over-explain everything. But what's interesting is every time I ask my guests if they've got any funny stories of them performing, they tend to always have happened on cruise ships. It was about 2 weeks ago. I had a lovely chat with Mandy Mooden, who's a great magician. And she had a funny story about being on a cruise ship where she'd been hired. She got onto the ship and she didn't realise until I think she was preparing for the show. And she looked outside and realised that everyone was wandering around naked. And it turned out that it was a swingers cruise. And she didn't know anything about it. And she said she went onto stage and everyone was pretty much naked. Which, yeah.
I mean, they tell you
what
to...
goes on these cruises.
Oh, God. Oh, my.
So you haven't done the swingers cruise yet, is what you're saying?
No, I don't. No, I don't think I'd be the kind of act for that kind of. I mean, but they do tell you to, if you get stage fright and pretend they're not wearing clothes, the audience aren't wearing any clothes.
Yeah,
so
no doubt. It was
that
a
would
very
be easy.
chilled, confident moment. Yeah.
So yeah,
confident show. In fact, that's.
dear.
I was literally just about to highlight this question, which is about stage fright. How do you handle stage fright? So we might as well go straight into that.
Well, there you go. Just envision the audience naked, or just go on a swingers cruise.
Just
What?
just stick to naked cruises. Yeah, that's a good advice.
No, I don't know. I don't have any tips. Deep breathing. I do tend to. So I've got this thing. So during BGT, we had a fantastic vocal coach called Anne-Marie Speed, and she used to just stay hydrated, and she just drummed it into my head. And now every time I do a gig, I always think I need to be hydrated, because it doesn't matter what happens, as long as I'm hydrated, I'll be fine, vocally. But I think before a show, I tend to sort of have maybe like 5 to 10 minutes where I like to try and be a little bit chilled, just to kind of gather my thoughts, and because I do get nervous still, and it's almost like a meditation, I think, to a degree, where I just sit and chill out and kind of breathe and just steady myself a little bit, so that I'm not going onto stage being like
Yeah.
But there are times, like, obviously you know yourself, there's times where things run over, like, meet and greets or whatever, and you're rushing at the last kick to get on stage, and sometimes the buzz makes it better. So I don't know, sometimes it depends.
It's interesting because I do the opposite of what you said about trying to be calm before the show. So before I ever go onto stage, just backstage about 5 minutes before, I listen to Footloose, and I get all my team together and we all dance around to Footloose just because it's such an energising song. So pretty much any TV spot that I've ever done, Britain's Got Talent and all those kind of stuff, I go on and I go on and tell, when I do TV stuff, like Serious Story and I do Serious Magic, but little do people know, 5 minutes before I was dancing around in the dressing room, high-fiving people to Footloose. So, yeah. Maybe I'm doing it wrong though. Maybe I should just try and keep calm.
When I go back into it, I will try both methods. I will play Footloose and I will try and chill. And I'll see what one, and I'll let you know what one works best.
Awesome. Sounds good. What I always try to do, especially because I've had a lot of BGT people on my show on Friday Night Lives, is before we finish, we always try to get our top 3 tips for anyone auditioning for a show like Britain's Got Talent or trying to appear on TV for the first time ever. I probably should have warned you in advance that I was going to ask you this.
No, it's probably best.
What would be your top 3 tips for anyone who wants to audition for a talent show?
Well, after seeing that clip, don't get a skinhead. Maybe ask someone.
It works perfect for you. It's been done, honestly, though, is what you're saying. It's been done. You need something different.
Oh, yeah. See the amount of times, though, over the years, I got asked if I'd had a hair transplant. I'm like, no, that was my own hair. Like, this is also my own hair. I probably will need one in about 10 years' time because I'm definitely receding. COVID is stressful. No, I'm kidding. But, no, I think be comfortable, know your stuff, and just enjoy it, really. Like, I was really, so as I get nervous, so the one thing that I try to do is learn my words and my song inside out. And what I would kind of do, especially if it was like the one-off, I would be singing the song in the shower just so that I knew all the words, like without a backing track or without a whatever, just so I knew that if something went wrong, I knew what was coming next or whatever, I don't know. So yeah, know your stuff inside out. Relax.
Yeah.
Just enjoy.
Good. I like it. Yeah. Good tips. That's awesome. I know that lots of people who join me on Friday Night Live are BGT fans, obviously, and no doubt a lot of the people who've joined from your side are BGT fans as well. And no doubt I've got talents that we're going to be seeing over the next few years. So yeah, good luck with all of that. I'm going to ask one more question. So anyone who's got any questions, put them in now. We'll get one more question out for tonight. But before, while we're waiting for those last few questions to come in, what do you have planned over the next few weeks? Now that lockdown is starting to ease up, have you got anything exciting planned?
I've got a friend's birthday next week, and I think there's an island just off the coast here called Arran, and I think there's talk of going over there to climb a mountain. So that's the kind of biggest thing I'm going to do.
Nice.
And then, as I said, I'm selling my house, so I'm waiting to hear about a move out date. But I'll be packing and getting ready for that, and I'm quite excited. Actually, in fact, this is a weird one. So, I got a gift at Christmas of a birth chart reading, and they told me that on the 26th of May, something big is going to happen. So that's next week.
Oh, what's the date today? Oh, okay.
So let's see, and it's also a full moon and a blood moon or a whatever type of moon. So I'm thinking either I'm going to become a werewolf or. I don't know. Something cool is going to happen. So we'll wait and see.
Okay. Well, everyone watching, make sure you're following Jay, obviously, on Facebook and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Let me get your Facebook up there. Because on the 26th of May, something interesting is going to be happening to you. So we're going to need to keep an eye out for that. And also, if any of you need a tree surgeon, he also does that as well. He's very good at removing tree stumps.
I am.
Yeah. Awesome. So we do have some final few questions, but the one I'm going to choose is a standard for Friday Night Live. Those people who join us every Friday night will know that there's a standard question that we get asked every time, and it is Bovril? Question
That's
mark.
funny. I've been waiting for this one the whole time. I saw it earlier on, and I was like, The funny thing is, can I tell you, I have never tried Bovril.
I'm going to give you a round of applause for that, because that makes me happy. Because the reason this Bovril challenge started in the first place was because someone asked me, do I prefer Bovril or Marmite? And I said I'd never heard of Bovril. At which point lots of people got very upset that I'd never even heard of Bovril. And it even got to the stage where someone sent me some Bovril. And what I do is I open up parcels on Friday Night Lives, not knowing what's in them. And obviously I couldn't then deny that I owned a Bovril. Nice. And then I had to do the Bovril challenge, which turned out to be cold water and a spoon of Bovril.
Oh, no.
And I wouldn't recommend it.
Cold.
I would not recommend it. A beef drink is not the way forward. It's not the future.
See, the thing is, I don't know if so I'm a vegetarian as well, so I don't know if I can have Bovril anymore. So just in case you're watching, don't send me.
All right. So don't hate on him. Also, if you try and send it to him, he's not going to be there anyway because he's selling his house.
That's true. I'm going to be annoyed.
That's he's heading out. Oh, here we go. We've got one final thing to finish off. Don't think Jay would be able to. Yeah, because he's a vegetarian. That confirms it. There we go. Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to say, first of all, thank you so much to everyone who joined us tonight and asked questions. We had a good time. And obviously, a massive thank you to you, Jai. I really appreciate your time tonight. It's been great getting to know you, and hopefully I'll see you in the real world at some point. And if you ever need a duet for like a Chinese or any kind of a Japanese talent show or anything like that, just keep me in mind as a backup.
I mean, I could sing songs and you could do magic around about me. That's just pretty much a given. Sounds like an awesome
sounds like there's
show.
A tour waiting to happen right there. Obviously, don't forget as well that you can see Jai on the shows coming up. So keep an eye out for all of those dates. If anyone is going to see the one in Colchester, keep an eye out for me and I'll say hello because I'm going to definitely be coming along. So we'll be seeing you there. Hopefully, do you do VIP tickets for your shows?
For that one, I'm not sure.
Okay. But I'm just wondering if we can get to meet you and high five you. In the,
I normally come out at stage door and things after the show. So even if there's no VIP, I know we do VIP at Le Musicals, but I'm not sure how Come Up Me is going to work at the moment. But I'll definitely be at stage doors and things.
Wicked. Well, we'll be seeing you there. So thank you very much, Jai. Thank you very much to everyone joining us. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you all again very soon. Until then, keep safe and keep smiling. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, Jai.
Bye.
Appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you. Mind reader.